Stay tuned, as what you're about to discover could fundamentally alter British politics. Keir Starmer's leadership is hanging by a thread, with a shocking scandal poised to dismantle the Labour Party like a house of cards. In Southport, allegations of corruption have emerged, leading to loud protests, and renowned investigative journalist Isabel Oakeshott has uncovered a story that could spell disaster for Starmer's political future. This isn't just another political saga. It's a genuine struggle for public trust that could be irreparably lost. Will this be the pivotal moment the public has been anticipating, or will the Labour Party attempt to bury this scandal in secrecy once again? One thing is certain, the stakes have never been higher.
What is he talking about? I mean, that video is just so much guff, isn't it? Nothing means anything. I'm so sick of hearing politicians in leadership positions talking about delivering.
Yes.
They're not pizza drivers, are they? They're not Deliveroo people delivering takeaways. Nobody knows what any of this stuff means. And I've seen him at it again today when he's talking about why he feels the need to go all the way over to Brazil for the G20, having just come back from God knows where else, Azerbaijan and all the other globe-trotting he's doing. And he always starts his sentence with, let's be clear.
Yes.
Whenever any politician says, let's be clear, that just means they're playing for time and trying to make themselves sound more important than they actually are, and trying to make what they're about to say sound more significant.
For weeks, the rumours of corruption in Southport appeared to be just a typical political noise. Vague allegations and anonymous tips that seldom led to anything substantial. However, behind the scenes, Isabel Oakeshott was already engaged in a thorough investigation, delving into what many dismissed as trivial. What began as quiet murmurs soon escalated into a thunderous outcry, as Oakeshott unveiled untellable evidence that could not be overlooked. Southport holds significant importance for the Labour Party. It was meant to represent their renewed dedication to northern communities and a genuine effort to rebuild the trust that had been eroded by political missteps over the past decade.
Well, I'm not really surprised that Channel 4 couldn't get its head around the story, because they don't have the right judgment. You know, they are out of touch with how viewers and voters feel. This is actually kind of one of the most dangerous stories for a government or political party, because it's really quite easily understood. It's just a rich guy, and I actually make no criticism of him. It seems he's played his hand quite well, spraying money and favours around the very top of this government. And people hate that stuff. And they also recall that the last bunch that were the recipients of this kind of largesse were the Tories, and they were the ones partying in Downing Street and so on. And guess who was on their high horse criticising it all? It was this lot. And that's what people hate. They hate the hypocrisy. They hate the perception of these entitled politicians having a great time. And I tell you what else they hate. They hate the lie.
Residents of Southport have been eagerly awaiting Labour's promises, hoping for new roads, better schools, and enhanced public services. What makes this scandal even more outrageous is the profound silence from Labour Party leadership. Rather than addressing the issue openly and honestly, the party appears to be engaged in a desperate struggle behind closed doors, attempting to suppress the fallout. This atmosphere of secrecy only fuels suspicion and distrust. How could such a vast sum of money vanish without a trace? And ultimately, who will be held accountable for this? At the heart of this scandal is a fearless journalist whose name has become synonymous with the relentless pursuit of truth. Renowned for her bold exposés of high-profile cases, her involvement in this investigation has transformed it from a local issue into a genuine national crisis, compelling millions to consider what is truly happening behind the scenes of power.
That there have been lies and that there are still lies. So in itself, that setup of the message during lockdown from Lord Ali's flat that was made to look like Keir Starmer's own property, that was a lie.
And that is, for me, possibly the worst and most damaging aspect of this story. That this is a guy who is leading our country, who is the representative of the United Kingdom at the United Nations. You know, he's not the head of state, but he's, you know, the leader of the nation. He has lived a complete lie. I mean, I said earlier today in the show, I don't know what he gets up to with Lord Ali. I don't know what he does for hours and hours on end at this flat that they seem to be happy to share.
In her captivating television appearance, Oakeshott did not hold back her emotions and passion. She forcefully accused the leaders of the Labour Party not only of failing to safeguard public funds, but also of intentionally hiding information about the missing millions. Her most scathing remarks were directed at Keir Starmer, whom she suggested was likely aware of the discrepancies and may have even endorsed efforts to cover them up. Her revelations have sparked a significant uproar within the political community, leading many to seriously question whether the Labour Party is genuinely committed to transparency or if it is merely a superficial gesture masking their true intentions. The Oakeshott investigation has exposed a troubling culture of secrecy within the Labour Party that many had suspected but few could substantiate. If her allegations are validated, this scandal could not only result in the downfall of Starmer's leadership, but also inflict lasting damage on the Labour Party's reputation, leaving a legacy of distrust and disappointment.
I think there is something bigger going on here, and it's annoying because I don't know what it is. And I know that the lobby of political journalists at Westminster feel the same. All of us instinctively feel that there is some big fact here that we're not being made.
I mean, I'm going to ask the question because nobody else will. Is it some kind of sex thing, do you think?
So there have long been rumours about Keir Starmer's private life, and they certainly aren't to do with any kind of doubts over his sexuality, if I can put it delicately. Okay. They are to do with his past and what the shape of his family really looks like. And it wouldn't be fair to go any further than that, but this is an open secret at Westminster that those question marks have been around for a long time.
One of the most troubling and shocking elements of this scandal is the mistreatment of the whistleblowers. According to information revealed by Oakeshott, several courageous individuals who chose to speak out about the missing funds encountered significant resistance. Rather than being commended for their bravery, they faced threats, intimidation, and even professional sabotage. Labour's treatment of these individuals not only contradicts the party's professed values of honesty and lawfulness, but also highlights the lengths to which some leaders will go to maintain their polished image. This cynical approach has resulted in explosive repercussions. The scandal is rapidly gaining traction nationwide, inciting increasing outrage. The British public is taking this matter very seriously, as evidenced by the more than 3 million signatures collected in record time on petitions calling for a comprehensive and independent investigation into the missing millions, reflecting the profound disappointment and anger of citizens.
Not politicians talking about how they've got a plan and they're going to change things and they're going to return Britain to, whatever. What did he say? Something about the service of public service?
Yeah, the service of the people of Britain, doing what the people want and all this. He's just making it up as he goes along. Nobody wants what he's doing.
Look at the state of the country. Does anyone honestly think that Labour is delivering whatever it is he says they're delivering? They're just delivering more woe, more problems.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at what he's going to miss because he's in Brazil, cozying up to President Xi. He's going to miss the farmers' protest, which is possibly going to be the single biggest issue, which might be a problem for this government and might even bring them down. Jeremy Clarkson apparently is going to be out front leading it. I've been already told by people that I know inside of the police who are suggesting that they might try and stop them from getting down to Westminster because they're frightened, they're terrified.
The residents of Southport have long felt overlooked and neglected. However, as Oakeshott's investigation unfolded, it became clear that those promises had been severely broken. Once a beacon of hope and transformation, Southport has now become the centre of controversy and disillusionment. the situation takes an even more troubling turn with leaked reports obtained by Oakeshott which expose a startling reality: millions of pounds designated for the revitalisation of Southport had vanished. Beast funds, meant for essential projects such as upgrading infrastructure, enhancing public spaces, and creating much-needed opportunities for the community, have simply disappeared.
Because there's been a strong feeling that it's not in the public interest. And the bar for that these days for the press is really quite high. It's a whole different world to where we were in the John Major years. All those sleaze scandals were really just to do with cabinet ministers having affairs, having mistresses.
Right.
That doesn't wash anymore in modern day Britain. People actually don't care. If one of our cabinet ministers has got a relationship with someone else, who cares?
Political analysts are labeling this a pivotal moment, characterizing it as a significant collective awakening among a disillusioned electorate. The public has made it abundantly clear they will no longer tolerate corruption, secrecy, and unfulfilled promises. Within the Labour Party, the scandal has ignited a wave of outrage and indignation. Senior members of Parliament, fueled by anger, are calling for urgent meetings to address what some are deeming a threat to the party's very survival. Keir Starmer, once viewed as the leader who could guide Labour into a new era of integrity and progress, now finds himself under intense scrutiny from all directions. His leadership, already criticised by various factions within the party, is precariously hanging by a thread. Past remarks, such as, "If you don't like the changes, the door is open," now resonate with bitter irony as calls for his resignation grow louder and more persistent each day. The atmosphere of anxiety and discontent is escalating, and society is demanding change. What are your thoughts on this? See you later.